What's up, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully, you guys are having a great day so far. In today's video, we're going to be talking about this champion here in the background. It's going to be the brand new free login champion that everyone will get a chance to get. We'll get to see his kit, and we'll go over that in this video here. And this is going to be the first look at this champion. Let's take a look at what Plarium has to say about this champion. Hey folks, today I'm sharing with you the details about the next loyalty champion, Vallaryn the Equalizer. All right, faction Undead Hordes is a legendary attack-based magic affinity champion. Vallaryn is a true all-rounder, ready to support your account's progression across a wide range of content, effective in both PvP and PvE. He shines in the Cursed City, Grim Forest, and other wave-based encounters, making him a valuable companion for early and mid-game players alike. Hey, that's a great description, especially for players that are just starting the game in Raid. So hopefully this guy's kit will live up to it. Let's jump into his kit here, and here's the first look at his kit. All right, here we go. So this is Vallaryn's kit. Let's take a look at it. His A1, Violent Harmony. Single target, double hit. He's got 4 books in here. Each hit heals this champion by 20% of the damage inflicted. Each hit also has a 50% chance, 75% chance when fully booked, of placing a heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. So when he's fully booked up, he's got a double hit, 75% each. That's going to give you a combined roughly 95% chance of landing the heal reduction on his A1. So obviously the heal reduction is going to be useful in some content versus, for example, Amius, for example, the Grim Forest, the Chest, for example, the Fire Knight, and it's a multi-hit A1. So not a bad A1 there. Although Cold Heart hits 4 times with the heal reduction as well. Just a little comparison there, of course. Now let's check out the A2. Precise Intervention. 4-turn cooldown, 3 turns when fully booked, 5 books in here. It's an AoE attack, places Weaken and Leech for 2 turns. It is on a 3-turn cooldown, so these debuffs are going to be, have pretty good uptime. Weaken and Leech. Weaken, okay. Leech, okay. Both of these are very solid for clan boss and generally for early game teams that don't have a lot of healing. They don't have specialized roles yet. Leech is actually very good just to give you guys a little bit of healing back. Make sure your teams can go through waves, etc. Good against bosses. So I don't mind this ability, but for 2026, it's a little bit average nowadays. 2 debuffs on an AoE, it's kind of average to be honest, but hey, not too bad. They are useful debuffs. Let's check out the A3. Outcome Assured. 5-turn cooldown, books down to 4 turns, 3 books here. So he's going to take a total of 12 books, I think. Yes, 12 books in total. That's pretty significant amount of book investments in this guy. But let's check out his A3 here. So Outcome Assured. Attacks 1 enemy twice before attacking. Removes all debuffs from this champion and swaps HP with the target. So it's a self-cleanse with an HP swap. Will ignore 15% of the target's defense. Okay, so just a blanket 15%. Will ignore 30% of the target's defense and any shield buffs instead if this champion's current HP is greater than the target's. He's got 20% damage from 2 books. It's a little bit of an interesting ability, just the way it reads. You guys let me know in the comments below if I'm reading this incorrectly, but it says remove all debuffs from this champion and swaps HP with the target. Will he swap if he had more HP? Right? It's not like an equalized HP, it's a swap HP. So let's say Vallaryn has more HP than the target. Would he swap his more HP to the target with, and then take his target's less HP, like a direct swap? Like that's a negative, right? Of course not. So you're lowering your own HP and you're also stopping yourself from getting this ignore 30% defense bonus, right? Because you want your HP to be higher than the target's. So I'm curious whether this HP swap happens regardless, even if it's a negative outcome. That's kind of what I'm wondering. The other concern that I have about this ability is that he is an attack-based damage dealer. Naturally, his HP will probably be quite low, So I'm curious how this health swap ability is going to work out for him. This ability does not seem very strong at all. Oftentimes, if you need to self cleanse yourself, you're probably under some kind of hard crowd control. In which case, you might not be able to cleanse yourself because you're crowd controlled, right? So, like for example, if you're stunned, you can't really remove the stun from yourself. So you're kind of removing like other debuffs, usually not crowd control debuffs. But on the flip side of all this could be a pretty huge ability, especially if you have some kind of cheat death on him. Like for example, like a swift parry set, then he'll have no HP with the unkillable, and then you do the health swap. That's a big, big HP swing, right, for him. But still, this is a single target hit on a 4-turn cooldown. It's a bit of a letdown, to be honest, unless it hits really, really hard. I would have loved to see this ability also strip the enemy of buffs. So first you cleanse yourself and then you strip your enemy. That would have been really, really good, especially for this ability. But as it is, I feel it's a little bit of a letdown right now. Let's check out his passive. His passive, My True Purpose. On a 3-turn cooldown, his active ability decreases the cooldown of one of this champion's skills by 2 turns whenever this champion loses 30% or more HP from an enemy skill in 1 turn. So I guess what they're planning is basically he takes damage. He takes more than 30% of his HP, which is probably going to be pretty easy to do because, like I said, he's an attack-based damage dealer, so his HP pool is probably going to be low to begin with. So when he takes 30% or more of his HP in one hit, he'll have, assuming a 2-turn cooldown reduction on his A3, he comes back in with a swap and then he does all the fancy things. He kills stuff. So that's probably the idea with this passive. It's on a 3-turn cooldown, so it's not going to happen all the time. He doesn't gain extra turn meter. He doesn't gain an instant turn or anything like that. So he might not even be able to realize any of the value from this active effect because he has to still take a turn after it happens. To be honest, it's a pretty weak active effect, but hey, it is what it is. Passive effect, so it's going to be on all the time. This champion counterattacks with his default skill each time an enemy is healed by a skill. Occurs once per turn. So he's going to counterattack passively with his A1. So his A1 is going to heal himself and land heal reduction. And that's going to happen whenever they heal themselves with a skill. So that's pretty good, I guess. It's just like a passive A1 that happens. It's nice that, there's no cooldown on it. And heals from a skill, I mean, that's going to stop. That's, it's not going to happen when like sets heal them. But I think there's enough, skills that heal that he's going to get some pretty good value from this passive effect. And then, of course, the heal reduction is going to stop whatever champion is healing from healing again in the future, ideally. So it's not bad. It's not bad. It kind of works. And then lastly is Aura, attacking all battles by 28%. Now, on first look, this guy's not going to change, anyone's account outside of the earlier mid-game, like Vallaryn was saying. It's an earlier mid-game account, kind of progression champion. I don't see this being very insane, but he does have a versatile enough kit that I think it's going to help a lot of people. First of all, his A1, it's a double hit. Is a heal reduction ability, which is really, really good against, like I said, some of the harder areas in the game where you actually really rely on heal reduction. It's kind of funny because last year we had Lemonisi, and Lemonisi was also a heal reduction champion. And this year, and she was a login champion too. And this year we have Vallaryn, which is another heal reduction champion. And Vallaryn's E2, it's an AoE weaken with Leech, can be quite useful, like I said, for early game clan boss, for waves, especially when you don't have a dedicated, healer or ways to survive with your team. This guy's going to be not too bad for that role. His A3, I'm not 100% sold on this. I don't think it's going to hit super hard, especially for earlier mid game, because you got to gear him out with relatively good gear for him to do damage. So I don't see an early game player doing that. So his A3, I mean, maybe the health swap will allow him to finish off something, like a critical wave enemy or something like that, and then you can get some value from it. The base ignore defense is also very helpful because in the beginning or middle stages of the game, most players don't have great sets. They don't have savage gear, instinct gear, lethal gear. So having, the built-in ignore defense is useful. It does have value. It will increase the amount of damage that he will do. It'll be interesting to see what kind of multipliers he has, what his base stats will be, to see exactly how hard he hits. His passive, not super impressive with his active effect here, in my opinion. I think his passive effect is actually pretty decent. The fact that he uses his A1 whenever an enemy is healed is kind of nice. So this would affect bosses, I believe, like Amius. like the chest in Grim Forest. I think that's really nice. So he'll come back in with the A1, slap the hero reduction on those bosses, and then you carry on and take those guys out. I think it's a nice touch giving this kind of champion as free to help tackle those harder areas in the game. Not to mention the Fire Knight also heals themselves, so he's going to go back in and slap them with the A1. It's also 2 hits against the shield. He's got a slightly smaller attack aura, but at least it's an all battles aura. Slight knock against this guy is that he does take 12 legendary books, and most early game or mid game players probably don't have 12 legendary books to spare on a kind of mid-ish kind of champion here. Overall, he's free. I think he's okay. He's not going to be insane, and he's going to be helpful for some players in certain tough roadblock areas in the game, like I said, against the bosses and some of those key content areas. So definitely a win for those early game players or players just progressing through the game. But this guy's not going to do anything for anybody in the later stages of the game. But hey, it's going to be a free 500 champion chase points or some CVC points somewhere down the line. And I would assume that you get the 5-star soul for him too, which would be absolutely amazing because 5-star soul for a legendary champion means you can get brimstone. So that's going to really help out those early and mid game players through the game. So anyways, guys, that's going to be it here for Vallaryn the Equalizer. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about Vallaryn's kit. Do you guys think it's going to be helpful for you? Do you guys think he's going to crack some content for your account? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching until the end. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.